Welcome to the Financial Aid Overview presentation. This presentation is specifically for high school students graduated in the 2020-2021 academic year and then enrolling in a post-secondary institution for the 2021-2022 academic year. It is brought to you by the Office of Student Financial Assistance, a division of the Florida Department of Education. Upon completion of this presentation, you will gain a better understanding of the overall financial aid process for all post-secondary institutions. My name is Pedro R. Hernandez, Director of Outreach Services here at the Office of Student Financial Assistance. It is my pleasure to guide you throughout this process. A major and critical lesson to know is that financial aid has its own language and acronyms. We will explain these as we move through the presentation. However, if you at any point throughout this process do not understand a term, a concept, or an acronym, always ask for clarification. In the financial aid language, let us review the following. COA signifies cost of attendance. SAR signifies student aid report. EFC means expected family contribution. FAFSA means free application for federal student aid. FSA ID signifies student aid identification. FFAA signifies the Florida Financial Aid Application. FAO means the Financial Aid Office. USDOE signifies the United States Department of Education. FDOE, the Florida Department of Education. And OSFA is the Office of Student Financial Assistance. The goal of this session is to understand the entire financial aid process. This will be accomplished by reviewing the following 4 questions. First, what is financial aid? Second, where do I find financial aid? Third, how and when do I apply? And finally, who can help me with this process? After this brief yet comprehensive review, you will be able to better understand the entire financial aid process and make informed decisions pertaining to funding a post-secondary education. Let us begin by answering the first question. What is financial aid? Financial aid is defined as money received from the 4 major sources. First, federal. Second, the state that which you reside. Third, institutional. And fourth, private resources. Federal aid or USDOE aid includes funding such as the Pell Grant, federal student loans, and federal work study. State financial aid offers a variety of state-funded scholarships and grants that are administered by the Florida Department of Education's Office of Student Financial Assistance and subject to change each year during the legislative session. Institutional aid is monies offered directly from the post-secondary institutions, that is, the college, university, or technical center. Private resources include a variety of scholarships from various groups such as local employers, national organizations, or community groups. It is also important to research and apply for each of these resources. Financial aid may also be defined into the following different categories. Gift aid. This is free money that does not require repayment as long as the student meets the parameters outlined for each grant or scholarship. Students should always consult with a financial aid administrator prior to making any schedule changes to determine what repercussions the schedule change will have on their financial aid awards. Self-help aid includes both federal and state work programs. Students should check with their employer or potential employers regarding any tuition assistance or reimbursement programs being offered. Federal student loans are also considered a form of self-help, but should only be used as a last resort. Need-based financial aid is awarded based on the applicant's free application for federal student aid or FAFSA. Therefore, it is important to complete your FAFSA as soon as possible. While the Pell Grant is a federal entitlement program, other need-based monies may be awarded from state or the institutions. Merit-based financial aid are monies which are available through a variety of avenues that we will discuss throughout today's presentation. For example, the Florida Bright Futures Scholarship is a merit-based program. Scholastic and athletic scholarships are also examples of merit-based financial aid. College costs include tuition, fees, and books, along with other expenses such as transportation, food, housing, clothing, and computer costs. Cost of attendance can vary from institution to institution, so check your college's website for additional information. Financial aid monies can be used toward all items included within the cost of attendance. The cost of attendance, or COA, varies from institution to institution. There are also variances between in-state and out-of-state schools and whether the student lives on or off campus. It is important to take this into consideration when researching your options. The cost of attendance traditionally includes both direct and indirect costs. Direct costs traditionally are tuition and fees. Indirect costs include items such as books, food, transportation, housing, and computer expenses. A great resource to utilize is the net price calculator. Every school is now required to have a net price calculator available. You can use the net price calculator to assist you in analyzing your specific cost of attendance at a particular school. As we outlined on the previous slide, college costs include both direct and indirect costs. Let us briefly review just the average direct cost, which is only tuition and fees per year at different types of institutions. According to the College Board, average yearly institutional fees or average cost of attendance, just direct costs, are as follows. If you were to enroll nationally at a public 2-year college, or what is commonly called as a community college or state college, average tuition and fees are about $3,440, much lower in the state of Florida. Nationally, if you were to enroll in a 4-year state university, just tuition and fees or direct costs are a little over $9,410. Once again, much less in the state of Florida. If you were to enroll for an out-of-state 4-year public college or university, on average, those tuition and fees or direct costs would be approximately $23,890. If you were to enroll at a private institution, tuition and fees on average come to about $32,410. Where does one find financial aid? One essential step is completing the free application for Federal Student Aid or FAFSA. While filing the FAFSA is not required, it is used by many institutions to determine need-based financial aid provided by the school for federal financial aid, state financial aid, and institutional financial aid. Please also note that the first letter in the acronym FAFSA stands for free. Please make sure you are using the correct website at FAFSA.gov or studentaid.gov. Ways to submit the FAFSA. Online using your FSA ID to electronically sign the application, which is highly recommended. Also, you could submit information online and print the signature page to be submitted by mail. The 2021-2022 application became available October 1st of 2020. Applicants will use their 2019 tax information to complete the FAFSA. Please review your institution's website to determine the priority deadlines, as deadlines vary from institution to institution. Also, please note that it is highly advisable to complete the application electronically and to utilize the IRS data retrieval tool. It is also recommended to fill out the FAFSA each year the student attends a post-secondary institution. This is a screenshot of FAFSA.gov or studentaid.gov. The reason that we show the screen is to ensure that you are accessing the free website. If you feel that you need assistance in completing this application, there are built-in help resources available online. You could also reach out to a member of the OSFA Outreach Services team, your high school counselor, or a financial aid professional at your institution. We can all help you at no cost. When completing the FAFSA, students will need to have their Social Security number or alien registration number if applicable, prior year tax returns or earnings statements, untaxed income records, current bank statements, and current business and investment records. Monitoring the various deadlines is an integral part of the financial aid process. For example, the state of Florida offers need-based programs that include the FAFSA priority deadline of May 15th. Institutions also have their own FAFSA priority deadline, and you can check their websites for the specific dates. The FAFSA may require parental information. Students will find out their dependency status by answering a few questions at the beginning of the application. If there are extenuating circumstances and students cannot provide parental information, they need to speak to a financial aid administrator at their selected institutions. Circumstances. Extenuating circumstances are not applicable to parents who are unwilling to assist, students who live on their own, etc. Students can search for school codes directly within the FAFSA application and can request up to 10 institutions to receive their information. If they have additional institutions beyond 10, they would first submit the first 10, log back in, and add the additional schools and retransmit their FAFSA to add those additional schools beyond the original 10. Students and parents will need to apply for their own FSA ID, that means their own username and password. This FSA ID is used to sign the FAFSA and utilize the IRS data retrieval tool. Signing and submitting the FAFSA via this electronic format greatly expedites the process. Parents, if you have an FSA ID either from your own FAFSA or in conjunction with another child, you will use the same FSA ID again. Note, a separate email address is connected with each FSA ID. A parent's email address cannot be used with the student ID and vice versa. The U.S. Department of Education identifies students' dependency status based on the following questions. If the student answers yes to any of the following questions, you are considered an independent student on the 2021-22 and 22 free application for federal student aid or FAFSA, and you will generally not need to provide parental information. However, if you answer no to all of the following questions, you are considered a dependent student, and generally your parents must provide parental information on your FAFSA. The questions are, were you born before January 1st, 1998? As of today, are you married? At the beginning of the 2021-2022 school year, will you be working on a master's or doctoral program? Are you currently serving on active military duty in the armed forces for purposes other than training? Are you a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces? Do you now have or will have children who will receive more than half of their support from you between July 1st, 2021 and June 30th, 2022? Do you have dependents other than your children or spouse who live with you and who receive more than half of their support from you now and through June 30th of 2022? At any time since you turned age 13, were both of your parents deceased? Were you in foster care, or were you a dependent or ward of the court in the state that you reside in? As determined by a court in your state of legal residence, are you or were you an emancipated minor? Does someone other than your parent or step-parent have legal guardianship of you, as determined by a court in the state of your legal residence? The next few questions pertain to applicants who are designated as being homeless, an unaccompanied youth, or self-supporting, or at risk of being homeless. At any time on or after July 1st of 2020, did your high school or school district homeless liaison determine that you were unaccompanied youth who was homeless or were self-supporting or at risk of being homeless? Or was it determined by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development or the director of a runaway or homeless youth basic center or transitional living program that you, once again, you were homeless or were an unaccompanied youth who was homeless or at risk of being homeless? Now, answering those questions will determine your dependency status. Therefore, Then if you are determined to be a dependent student, who is a parent for FAFSA purposes? A parent is a legal parent. It's going to be a biological or adoptive parent or a person that the state has determined to be your parent. For example, when a state allows another person's name to be listed as a parent on a birth certificate. Therefore, for FAFSA purposes, grandparents, foster parents, legal guardians, older brothers and sisters, widowed step-parents, aunts, uncles are not considered parents unless they have legally adopted you. Parents' marital status. Often there is confusion regarding the marital status of parents and how to report a parent on the FAFSA. For example, if parents have never been married, include the parent that you live with the most during the last 12 months. If you do not live with one parent more than the other, provide information about the parent who provided you more financial support during the last 12 months or during the most recent year that you actually received support from a parent. If your parents are unmarried and both parents are living together, include both of your parents. If your parents are married, include both of your parents. That is, if they are in a traditional marriage or a same-sex marriage. Remarried, that's either after being widowed or divorced. Include the parents and step-parent. Divorced or separated. Include the parent that you live with the most during the last 12 months. If you do not live with one parent more than the other, provide information about the parent who provided more financial support during the last 12 months or during the most recent year that you actually received support from a parent. If the marital status is widowed, include the parent who is living. Once you submitted your FAFSA, you will receive a SAR or a student aid report. It is important to ensure that the SAR is received and reviewed according to these timeframes. If the SAR is not received, the student must investigate why it has not been received. It may be in a spam folder, it may have not processed correctly due to an error, etc. When the student receives their copy of the SAR, the institutions will receive an electronic version referred to as an ISER. If corrections need to be made, the student should work with a financial aid administrator to determine who will make the corrections, whether it's going to be the student or the school. If a student needs to make corrections, they will do so by logging in once again to their FAFSA account at FAFSA.gov or studentaid.gov and correcting the information and resubmitting it and signing the FAFSA electronically. The institution will review the student aid report for accuracy and begin the financial aid award process. The EFC is used to award need-based aid. As outlined on the slide, cost of attendance minus expected family contribution equals your financial need. An institution will begin layering a financial aid package in an effort to cover the entire cost of attendance. As the cost of attendance can vary from institution to institution, it is important that the students and families apply for all federal, state, institutional, and utilize their local resources in an effort to assist the institution in building a strong financial aid package. Students must contact their institution to determine the award process. For example, one institution may email their student. Another may require the student to log into a student portal and check their status online. The student must monitor the process closely. Otherwise, they will miss out on key deadlines or even possible funding. If students and families complete the FAFSA and are concerned that the form does not reflect their current situation, they may contact a financial aid administrator to discuss their specific needs. Professional judgment or special circumstances is an option that schools have to do and have direct authority in this area. Students can also contact the institution to determine what other aid applicants are available. An institution may have a foundation or may require the student to fill out a separate application. Additionally, department chairs may have access to only institutional funds, but may also have access to other industry-based resources students can apply for. Lastly, student loans are often included in the initial award process. Students have a right and responsibility to determine if they should accept, decline, or reduce any student loan or loans being offered. students should borrow conservatively. It is important to live frugally while in college. If a student does not borrow conservatively and live frugally, they will struggle throughout the student loan repayment period. Continuing with where do I apply for financial aid question. Now let us discuss aid offered by the state of Florida. Students often refer to the Florida Financial Aid Application, or FAAA, as the Bright Futures application. It is actually more than that. This one application assists OSFA in determining eligibility for a variety of state grants and scholarships that we will review over the next few slides. One common misconception is that students do not need to complete the application if they do not feel they will qualify for Bright Future Scholarship. This is not true. We encourage all students to complete the application and give OSFA the opportunity to determine their eligibility for all Florida grants and scholarships. Another common misconception is that students do not need to complete the application if they are planning to attend school out of state. Once again, this is not true either. We encourage you to complete it anyway and have it as a backup should your plans change and you wish to re-enroll in a Florida institution. The Florida Financial Aid application opened October 1st of 2020. Students may apply during their senior year and only during their senior year. The next slide contains screenshots of what the OSFA website looks like. It is at floridastudentfinancialaid.sg.org. Students have the ability to submit their Florida Financial Aid application and also review all of the state scholarships and grants offered by our department. We at the Florida Department of Education have various scholarships. We have need-based programs, such as the Florida Student Assistance Grant. It is Florida's largest need-based grant program, which provides assistance to degree-seeking resident undergraduate students who demonstrate financial need and are enrolled in eligible public or private post-secondary institutions. FAFSA is required by the deadline specified by the participating post-secondary institutions. The Florida Work Experience Program provides eligible Florida resident undergraduate students the opportunity to secure work experiences that complement their educational program and career goals. We have a tuition assistance program, such as Access to Better Learning and Education, which provides tuition assistance to full-time undergraduate students enrolled in degree programs at eligible private Florida colleges or universities. We also have the Effective Access to Student Educational Grant Program, which provides tuition assistance to full-time undergraduate students who attend eligible private, non-for-profit colleges or universities. The Florida Department of Education also offers merit-based scholarship programs. The Florida Bright Futures program provides scholarships based on high school academic achievement and is Florida's largest merit-based scholarship program. To be considered, students must submit a completed error-free initial Florida financial aid application during their senior year of high school, after October 1st and prior to August 31st of their senior year. The Benequisto is a merit scholarship for Florida high school students and non-Florida residents. The Florida Department of Education offers a variety of other scholarships and grants. As you can see here, we have outlined all of our scholarships and grants, which we have information on our website to reflect these scholarships and grants. By students applying to the FAFSA and by students applying to the Florida Financial Aid applications, by applying for those two applications, students will be evaluated for 3 of the 4 major resources of financial aid: federal funds, state funds, and institutional funds. But there are 4 major resources. Private scholarships fall under the private resources. When it comes to private scholarships, we have listed FastWeb, which is one that works by matching the information in your completed profile to scholarships contained in their database. Besides providing you with scholarships you actually qualify for and eliminating the need for you to scour the web, FastWeb also provides advice on college financial aid, college admissions, student life, and other tools such as calculators and discussion boards. Remember to research as many possible private scholarships as you possibly can. We have additional resources such as finaid.org, which offers a great list of scholarships. The list includes a section called Unusual Scholarships. We also have your high school or district offices, which have private scholarships available to them. However, we ask that you protect yourself and make sure that when you are applying to private scholarships, you are aware to please not provide social security number, bank accounting information, such as your bank account and routing information, as those should raise flags. Private scholarship organizations are there to provide students with scholarships, not for you to pay for scholarship searches. So just be aware of scholarship scams. If you have any concern whatsoever, please visit the website ftc.gov to see if that scholarship organization is a legitimate organization. Through OSPA's sponsorship, all of Mapping Your Future's products and services are free of charge to Florida students and family. Mapping Your Future's goal is to help students plan for their higher education by offering reliable and unbiased money management advice and counseling. We have listed the website here, and all of their information is available once again free of charge. OSPA also offers free resources and guidance through Navigating Your Financial Future website. Please visit our website at Navigating Your Financial Future to see all of the free brochures, online trainings, and financial aid calculators, and much more resources available to you. In conclusion, let's review what we discussed and create an action plan for you. By completing both the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, and the FFAA, or the Florida Financial Aid application, you will be evaluated for 3 of the 4 major sources of financial aid: federal, state, and institution. Now, when it comes to federal aid, this application opened up October 1st of 2020, and it's currently available to all high school seniors. The Florida state application, the Florida Financial Aid application, or the state application, opened up also on October 1st of 2020, and is still open all the way up to August 30th. But you want to fill that application as soon as possible. In addition, make sure that you are meeting all the Bright Futures requirements all the way up and including graduation. When it comes to private scholarships, the fourth source of all financial aid, make sure that you apply. Try to apply to as many private scholarships, whether that's from a private organization, an institution. All of these scholarships will help augment your overall financial aid package. Once again, if student needs any additional questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me or our office. Our main email address is osfa@fldoe.org. You can reach us by telephone at 888-827-2004, or you can contact me directly. My name, once again, is Pedro Pete Hernandez at area code 850-245-1821, or directly via my email at pedro.hernandez@fldoe.org. Once again, thank you for attending this presentation. We hope you have a successful transition into your post-secondary education.